Every culture believes in ghosts. Science says they don't exist. So why do millions of people describe the same experience? At the exact moment they almost die. Tonight, we're not hunting ghosts. We're asking a more dangerous question. What if consciousness doesn't end with the body? And if it doesn't, what does that mean for us? I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to show you why even science isn't fully comfortable with the answer. Across history and across cultures, humans have reported encounters with the dead. From ancient Egyptian texts to Indian stories of Bhut, Preta, and restless Atma. But what's unsettling is not the stories. It's how similar they are even among people who never believed in ghosts. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, are reported by millions of people worldwide. Cardiac arrest patients describe floating above their bodies, watching doctors work, meeting deceased relatives, and entering a tunnel of light. Dutch cardiologist Dr. Pim van Lommel studied thousands of these cases. Some patients accurately described events that happened while their brains showed little to no activity. And here's the uncomfortable part. Some of them knew things they shouldn't have been able to know. Then, there are reincarnation cases, especially documented in India. Children as young as 2, recalling names, locations, and deaths from previous lives. Psychiatrist Dr. Ian Stevenson documented over 2,500 cases worldwide. Some children had birthmarks, matching fatal wounds of deceased individuals. A claim that still divides science. Believers say this suggests memory beyond one lifetime. Skeptics say coincidence and cultural influence. But memory isn't the only mystery. What if consciousness itself is? Some scientists, like Roger Penrose, have speculated that consciousness may involve quantum processes in the brain. It's not proven. It's not accepted by mainstream science. But it is intriguing. Because, if consciousness is not just chemical reactions, if it's not merely neurons firing, then death might not be a full stop. It might be a pause. And if that's true, then ghosts wouldn't be fantasy. They'd be leftovers. But science pushes back hard. There is no repeatable, controlled evidence for ghosts. Not once. Not ever. The James Randi Foundation offered $1 million for proof of paranormal abilities. Even after 50 years, there are no winners. Neuroscientists argue, NDEs are brain chemistry under stress. Oxygen deprivation floods the brain with endorphins and DMT-like effects. Drugs like ketamine can recreate almost identical experiences. Feeling like outside the body? It's just a non-neurological illusion. Reincarnation stories may involve cryptomnesia, forgotten memories resurfacing. In cultures where rebirth is widely believed, such stories are far more common. Our brains are excellent storytellers. Sometimes it's too good. Now let's see the scientific reasoning behind so-called ghost sightings. Cold spots, drafts, orbs, dust, whispers, audio pareidolia, infrasound. Low-frequency sound can cause anxiety, nausea, and the feeling of being watched. Undetected carbon monoxide exposure has led to hallucinations, confusion, and hospitalizations that were initially blamed on hauntings. So, is the case closed? Not entirely. Across cultures, haunted places are rarely random. They're tied to trauma, violence, despair, unfinished lives. Folklore calls it negative energy. Science calls it psychological and environmental triggers. But here's the disturbing overlap. Human emotions leave marks on the brain, on behavior, on places. If consciousness can persist, then trauma might persist too. What if anger doesn't die? What if regret doesn't dissolve? What if some people don't move on, not because they're evil, but because they're broken? If ghosts are real, then consciousness can exist without a living body. Death is not an ending, it is a transition. Science doesn't collapse, but it becomes incomplete. Physics would need to explain awareness without neurons. Ethics would change. Do the dead have rights? Can suffering persist after death? In Indian philosophy, karma is not punishment, it is consequence. If ghosts exist, unresolved karma may trap consciousness in a state of unrest. Not heaven, not hell, just continuation. If ghosts are not real, then consciousness ends when the brain stops. Death is final. Nothing observes us after. No memory survives. Morality has no cosmic enforcement. Justice is man-made. Suffering does not echo, it simply ends. Meaning is not discovered in the universe. It is created by us, or it does not exist at all. According to you, which reality is more terrifying? So, are ghosts real? Or are they shadows, cast by a brain that fears its own ending? Science doesn't confirm them. But it doesn't fully erase them either. And that uncertainty is where the fear lives. If you've experienced something you can't explain, share it below. Not to prove anything, just to be heard. Subscribe if you like questions that don't have easy answers. And next time you feel a presence, ask yourself, is it something out there? Or something still unfinished within us?